You know, it's so easy to think of a great relationship as something you just find, like you stumble upon it by pure luck. But honestly, the strongest, most faithful partnerships, the ones that really last, they aren't found. They are built on purpose, stone by stone. And yeah, this image really captures that, doesn't it? A bond that feels this secure, this full of genuine trust, it doesn't just magically appear. It's the result of two people making a conscious choice every single day to build something together that's meant to stand the test of time. So that really brings us to the big question, the reason we're all here. What is the secret? I mean, are there actual blueprints for building a relationship that isn't just loving, but is genuinely, deeply trustworthy? Well, the answer is yes. So let's break down those blueprints. Okay, so we're going to start, maybe surprisingly, not with feelings, but with a little bit of science. Because believe it or not, there's a whole field of psychology dedicated to relationship security. And understanding this stuff, well, this is like pouring the concrete foundation for our fortress. I want you to think of your relationship like a building. Before you can put up the walls or hang the pictures, you have to know the ground you're building on is solid, right? That bedrock, that unshakable foundation, is trust. And psychology actually gives us a really fascinating window into how we instinctively try to protect it. Now, here's a term you've probably never heard before: mate guarding. I know it sounds a little primal, a little cavemanish, and well, that's because it is. It comes from evolutionary psychology, from the work of a researcher named David Buss, and it basically describes all the things we do, consciously or not, to keep our partners invested and faithful. And hey, while the name sounds a bit possessive, a lot of these behaviors are actually incredibly healthy and positive. So these mate guarding behaviors, they basically fall into two big buckets. On one side, you have intersexual tactics. Think inter as in between. These are all the things you do with your partner to make your bond stronger. On the other side, you have intrasexual tactics. Think intra as in within the same sex. These are things directed at potential rivals to, well, to send the message that your partner is happily off the market. And here's the really crucial takeaway from all the research. The most effective, most powerful strategies are, by far, the intersexual ones. It's the positive stuff. It's about showing affection, being their rock emotionally, doing those little thoughtful things that show you're paying attention, and yeah, even making an effort in how you look for them. It all sends the same message. I choose you, I'm still all in. And of course, planning a future together, that just cements the whole thing. This is the stuff that actually builds the bond from the inside out. All right, so we've got our scientific foundation poured. Now it's time to start putting up the pillars. These are the day-to-day practical actions that are going to hold the whole thing up and keep it strong, no matter what life throws at it. And I love this visual because it shows exactly how it all works together. That scientific understanding of what makes a relationship feel secure, that's our base. And these pillars of real daily connection, that's what we build on top of it, day after day. Now, if there is one single termite that can rot our entire structure from the inside, it's this right here: emotional disconnection. It's the slow drift. It's when partners stop feeling seen, stop feeling heard, stop feeling understood. That's when the whole thing becomes vulnerable. That's the crack that can lead to a crisis and to the kind of profound, life-shattering pain that comes with betrayal. So how do we fight that drift? How do we stop it? It all comes down to powerful, intentional communication. And here are 3 keys. First, actually schedule regular check-ins. Make time where you just talk about you. Second, practice active listening. That means phone down, TV off, eyes on them, actually absorbing what they're saying. And third, and this is a big one, learn to express your own needs clearly and kindly. Your partner is not a mind reader. And this builds right on that point. It's so easy in our crazy busy lives to be physically in the same room but mentally a million miles away, right? Making your partner a priority means carving out real quality time with zero distractions. It means asking about their day and actually wanting to know the answer. The goal isn't just to be present, it's to be engaged. Okay, so we've built our fortress on a solid foundation. We've got strong pillars holding it up. But any good guard knows you also have to walk the walls now and then. This next part is all about maintenance, about spotting potential cracks before they become big problems. And I need to be super clear about this. This is not about being paranoid. It's not about snooping or living in a constant state of suspicion. That's not healthy for anyone. Think of it more like the check engine light in your car. It's not a catastrophe, it's just a signal. Awareness is just being attentive to your relationship's health so you can address something small before it gets big. So, what kinds of things are we looking for? Well, often, the very first signs are these little, subtle shifts in behavior. A phone that used to be left out on the table is now suddenly always in a pocket or face down. A noticeable cooling off in affection or a lack of interest in your life. Or a schedule that suddenly has a lot of late nights at work that just don't add up. Any one of these might mean nothing, but when you see them together, they can start to form a pattern. And then there are the more personal changes that might seem out of character, like a sudden, almost obsessive focus on their appearance, a whole new wardrobe, living at the gym, or when you try to talk about that vacation next year, they change the subject. And sometimes you'll see a big spike in irritability, where they pick fights over nothing. Often, that's just a way to deflect from their own guilt or internal conflict. Now listen, what you do with this awareness, this is absolutely everything. If you notice these signs, the goal is not to storm in with accusations. The absolute best way to handle this is to open a conversation with curiosity and care. Something like, hey, I might just be imagining things, but I feel like we've been a little distant lately. Is everything okay? An approach like that opens a door. Confrontation just slams it shut and bolts it. All right, let's bring all this home. We've talked about the science, the practical everyday actions, and the warning signs to watch for. So now let's focus on the path forward, on how to build a relationship that doesn't just survive, but one that actually thrives. If you take only one single idea away from everything we've talked about, please let it be this. This right here is the whole ballgame. Connection is the antidote. It's the vaccine against disconnection, it's the prevention for wandering eyes, and it's the absolute bedrock of lasting trust. Because really, at the end of the day, this is the core of it all. When a person feels truly seen by their partner, when they feel deeply heard and genuinely valued for who they are, the temptation, the desire to look for that feeling somewhere else, it just starts to fade away. Why would you look for a shack when you already live in a castle? And this brings us to one last really powerful way to think about this. You have a choice. You can be a gardener or you can be a firefighter. Proactively tending to your relationship every single day, watering it with affection, pulling the little weeds of misunderstanding is so much easier and more effective than trying to put out the raging inferno of broken trust after the fact. And this just summarizes our whole journey together so perfectly. We sometimes think of things like trust or respect as these destinations you arrive at, like you cross a finish line. But they're not. They are daily practices. They are choices you make and then remake every single day you're together. So I'm going to leave you with this one simple question. Thinking about everything we've just covered, the communication, the affection, the being present, what is one small stone, one single intentional act that you can lay for your own relationship fortress, starting right now, today?